All right, my financially ambitious friends, let's talk about why getting rich feels impossible at first, but why it actually gets way easier once you cross your first 100K. More specifically, why the first 100K is kind of like climbing Mount Everest in flip-flops, but the next million ends up feeling like going downhill on a sled. Have you ever felt like saving money is painfully slow, like you're tossing pennies into a black hole while rich people are out there making millions in their sleep? You're honestly not wrong. But why? What's the trick that rich people aren't telling you? And more importantly, how do you make it work for you? Charlie Munger, Warren Buffett's right-hand man who has a net worth of over $2.3 billion, by the way, actually came out and said it himself. The first 100K is a but you gotta do it. And he's not wrong. See, wealth building is 100% not linear. The first 100K is by far the hardest because you're doing all the heavy lifting yourself. It's mostly your own savings, grinding, and sacrifices. But after that, the game changes completely. Why? Because your money starts to make more money for you than you can earn yourself. Think about it like this. If you invest $100 and get a 10% return, you make a whopping grand total of $10. I know nothing life-changing, but stick with me. If you invest your first 100K at the same, well, you just made 10K doing literally nothing. Same returns, completely different outcomes. You see, that's why getting your first six figures is the hardest part. But once you do hit it, compound interest, momentum, and smart investing do most of the work for you. Stick with me, because by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to hit your first 100K as fast as possible, so you can start letting your money work for you instead of the other way around. Let's break it down. Let's start with talking about why saving for your first 100,000 feels like trying to fill a swimming pool up with a teaspoon. It's because in the beginning, it's all up to you. There's no magic, no compound interest doing the heavy lifting. It's just your income, your savings, your ability not to blow it all on takeout and impulse Amazon orders. Let's do some quick math here. If you save $10,000 a year, it's going to take you 10 years to hit 100,000. And that's without accounting for the investing, which if done right, can speed things up for you a little bit. See, this is where 99% of people give up. They get discouraged because they save for months, maybe even years, and the account balance stays tiny. Another problem, lifestyle creep. The moment you start making more money, you start spending more money. Got a raise? Suddenly that old Honda feels a little too basic next to your coworker's Tesla. Just landed a new job? Time for a bigger apartment. And before you know it, you're making twice as much, but you're just as broke. And finally, there's the mindset problem. You see, most people think that they'll never hit 100,000, so they don't even try. They assume that investing is just for rich people and that they'll be stuck living paycheck to paycheck forever. But here's the truth. 99% of people who ever become a millionaire had to start from zero, and most struggled to reach their first 100,000 just like you will, because that's the hardest part. The good news? Once you push through and hit six figures, everything changes. And I'm about to show you why the next 100,000 is easier and the next million is practically on autopilot. Okay, so let's assume you have actually clawed your way to 100,000. And now you're thinking, that was painful. Is it going to take me another decade to hit 200,000? Nope, because here's the secret. Once you have money, making more of it becomes way easier. Why? Because of two game-changing forces, compound interest and capital scaling. As you probably know by now, compound interest is how you get your money to start working harder than you do, when your money earns you money. At first, it feels like your savings are barely moving. Once you hit six figures, your investment starts making more money than you can save on your own. Let's say you invest your $100,000 and get an 8% return. That's $8,000 a year without lifting a finger. Meanwhile, someone starting at zero is grinding just to save up their first few thousand. But fast forward a bit, and at 500,000, an 8% return gives you 40,000 per year, an average person's entire salary. That's why the rich keep getting richer. Imagine starting a business with 500. It's tough, and growth is slow. Now imagine starting it with 500,000. Same effort, way bigger results. The same concept applies to investing. Whether you invest 100 or 10,000, the stock market doesn't care. It gives you the same return. But when you're playing with six figures, the numbers start getting ridiculous. And this is capital scaling. This is exactly why getting your first 100,000 is the hardest. But after that, your money does more of the work than you do. Now let's shift gears and talk about how you can hit your first 100,000 as fast as possible. Because the sooner you get there, the sooner the real magic begins. Okay, so now that we know why the first 100,000 is the hardest and how easy it gets after, the real question is, how do we get there as fast as possible? The answer? Well, you need to focus on three things: making more, spending less, and investing earlier. Okay, so let's say you're making $40,000 a year. Saving your way up to $100,000 is going to take you forever. So your best move is to boost your income. Ask for a raise. Seriously, most people never do. Learn a high-income skill like coding, sales, or anything that's in demand and pays. Maybe start a side hustle like freelancing, flipping, tutoring, literally anything that brings in some extra cash. Next step is to start playing better defense so you can stop wasting money. Making money is great, but if you made six figures and spend six figures, you're still broke. That lifestyle creep we were talking about earlier? Kill it. You don't need a new car just because you got that raise you asked for. Budgeting is now your best friend. Track every dollar like it owes you money. Subscriptions, impulse buys, eating out every night, you gotta cut it out. But remember, it's not about depriving yourself. It's about making your money work for you. Because once you start stacking up some cash, invest it ASAP. Don't let it sit in a low-interest savings account. Start using things like your employer-matched 401k. It's literally free money. Or a Roth IRA, which gives you tax-free growth. Index funds are another effortless long-term wealth builder. All you have to do is buy and hold. Because the faster you get your money into these types of accounts, the faster you hit the first 100,000 and the faster your money starts doing all the heavy lifting for you. Okay, now let's talk about the actual mindset shift that's going to make all of this possible. Let's be real for a second. Most people never hit their first 100,000 because of their mindset, not their income. If you believe that money is hard to get, impossible to save, or only for the rich people, well, guess what? You're probably never going to hit six figures. But if you actually start thinking about money as something you can control, grow, and multiply, everything changes. Most people live paycheck to paycheck not because they don't make enough, but because they spend without thinking. New iPhone? They're financing it. Weekend trip? Throw it on the credit card. But here's the problem with this mindset. It forgets that every dollar you spend today is a dollar that could be growing for your future self. Think about it like this. Would you rather have $100,000 invested or $100,000 in shoes, gadgets, and overpriced coffee? Pick the first one, and I promise the future you is going to thank both of us. Look, almost every rich person started off not far from you. Even Warren Buffett had to save his first few bucks before he became a gazillionaire. The only difference, people like him played the game the long term. They stacked small amounts, invested, and let time do its thing. A lot of people say that they'll start investing when they make more money. But guess what? If you don't save now, you probably won't save later. More income just means more spending, unless you start building that habit today. The sooner you shift how you think about money, the sooner you'll hit that 100,000, and the sooner you'll get to $1 million. Now, let's talk about one of the biggest wealth hacks that can help you, even though no one seems to talk about it. If you want to hit 100,000 faster, there's only one thing you absolutely cannot do: drown in debt. You see, debt is like trying to run a marathon while wearing a backpack full of bricks. It slows you down, drains your cash flow, and makes building wealth 10 times harder. That might sound a little dramatic, but let me clarify. Not all debt is evil. A mortgage? Fine. A student loan for a useful degree? Also probably fine. But those high-interest debt collectors, think credit cards, car loans, or any buy now, pay later scheme, is a wealth killer. Think about it like this. If you have a $5,000 credit card balance at a pretty standard 20% interest rate, you're paying $1,000 a year just to keep that debt alive. Meanwhile, that same $5,000 could be making you money if it were invested instead. And if you do have debt holding you back right now, here's how we can obliterate it ASAP. First off, stop adding to it. Cut the credit card spending and no more treating yourself unnecessarily. Use the debt snowball method. This just means paying off the small debt first, basically for quick wins, and then roll those payments into the next one over time. Lastly, try and refinance any high-interest debt whenever you can. If you can get a lower rate, take it. Every percentage point matters. Trust me, once you are debt-free, you suddenly have a ton of extra cash to save and invest. No more interest payments eating at your paycheck, just pure momentum pushing you towards that first 100,000. This is why people who stay out of debt hit 100,000 way faster than those who are still paying off for their past mistakes. Now let's look at exactly how you can start making your money work for you towards your goals through investing. All right. So you started saving, you've cut down on debt, and now it's time for the real wealth building move, investing. Because here's the truth. If your money isn't working for you, you'll always have to work for your money. Saving is great and all, but unfortunately, cash sitting in a savings account is lowering in value thanks to inflation. If you've saved $100,000 and left it to sit in a bank for 30 years, it would actually be worth less due to the rising of costs. On the other hand, if you invested the same $100,000 at an average of, let's say, 8% return, in 30 years, it could be worth $1 million. That right there is the magic of compound interest and why investing is so important. And you really don't need to be picking stocks like you're Warren Buffett or an analyst at Goldman. The simplest ways are the best for growing wealth. Think more 401k or a basic index fund like the S&P 500. No need to start day trading or looking into Bitcoin. The easiest way to build wealth is to automate your investing. Just set up an automatic transfer to your investment accounts every payday. Consistency beats trying to time the market every time. Once you hit your 100,000, your investment starts working harder than you do the more you invest. The less you have to rely on your paycheck alone to build wealth. Let's shift focus, though, and talk about how we can make sure you stay rich once you start doing all this. Okay, so we already know how hard it is to hit that first 100,000, but what about keeping it and growing your money after? Well, that's a whole other game, because here's what no one else is going to tell you. Getting rich and staying rich are two completely different skills. As we touched on earlier, the lifestyle creep is the biggest wealth killer by making you increase your spending as your income increases. But it doesn't just apply to average earning people. It's how many people making six figures end up broke. The solution? Live below your means, even and especially when you don't have to. Now, that doesn't mean never enjoying the money that you have, but it does mean spending less than you earn so that you can let your wealth actually grow. When it comes to losing money fast, well, that usually comes from trying to get rich overnight. Don't invest your money in things like crypto, meme coin, investment gurus on social media, or just trying to time the market. And most importantly, once you do start building wealth, protect it. Diversity is key. Don't put all your money into one asset or stock. Always remember to have insurance, whether it's for your health, car, or just liability insurance. And finally, always keep an emergency fund for yourself because life can and probably will throw surprises your way when you least expect it. You see, getting rich is a math problem. Staying rich is a mindset. Are you ready to bring all this together and talk about how you can hit your first 100,000 as fast as possible so the next million becomes as easy as possible? If you can take one thing away from this video, let it be this. Your first 100,000 is the hardest, but it's also the most important. Once you break past that barrier, your money starts working harder than you do. Your investments grow faster, your returns get bigger, and hitting the next milestone just keeps getting easier and easier. But that's the thing. You need to start now. First things first. Increase your income, whether it's learning a high-income skill, starting a side hustle, or just that raise you've been scared to ask for. And while you're doing that, start spending less, not more. Watch out for lifestyle creep and track every dollar. Remember, interest payments do nothing but slow you down, so kill bad debt fast. And as your income grows, automate your investing, stack up on index funds, and let time do its thing. And don't forget, making more money does not mean you can start blowing more money. The people who hit 100,000 the fastest are the ones that took action yesterday. The second best, today. So here's my challenge to you. If you made it to the end of this video, pick one step, any step, and get started today. That's all for now. Please like the video, subscribe, and let's keep stacking those dollars.